You can see we are logged into our console here, and under VPC is where you'll find the NACLS. So NACL is Network Access Control List. So let's see. I must not have to say about this. Okay, so according to the documentation here, a NACL, Network Access Control List, allows or denies specific inbound or outbound traffic at the subnet level. So this means that any rules that you apply to a NACL are only at the subnet level, and they don't apply at the resource level. So basically, in order to be affected by a NACL rule, your resource will have to cross over subnet boundaries, in essence. Okay. So with that being said, let's jump in here. So like I said, we're in our VPC dashboard, and we can see that we have a default VPC, and then also with that we have a default NACL. So if we take a look at this guy and go to details, let's check out this. This is really important. So by default in AWS, when you create a account, a VPC is created for you as well as a NACL. So by default, on a NACL, the default NACL, all traffic is allowed. So you'll see here we have rule number is 100. The type is all traffic, and then it says allow, and then below that you'll see the asterisk, and this is a explicit deny. Okay, and if we hop over here to the outbound rules, we have the same thing. Rule 100 says all traffic is allowed across all ports, and the star is all traffic is denied. So if we wanted to change this, we could just come in here and add a new rule. So the one other thing to remember about NACLs is that they are considered what's called stateless. So if I were to add a inbound rule for, let's say, let's add one. Just so if I add a new rule, let's do 101. And if the type, let's say we wanted SMTP, and of course that runs on port 25. Okay, so what this is going to do is allow all traffic. But with this is, since these rules are stateless, you need to, if I apply a inbound rule here that says for SMTP traffic, I'll need to do the same thing here for the outbound rules. So you can see that rule was added. This is our SMTP. And then I would need to do the same thing for the outbound rules to allow any communication to take place. And it's basically the same thing here. Add new rule, give it a number. TCP/IP. Okay, and save. Oops. What did I do wrong there? Those are not the same protocols. So let's go back and change this. And that actually should be SMTP. Okay. And then save. So we have the same rule, inbound SMTP, outbound SMTP allow. Okay. So with that being said, one other thing that's important here is that NACL rules are processed by order. So at this point, I think it's based off the rule number. So what this is telling us basically is that we have 2 inbound rules set up at this point, but only one of them is going to be executed, which is this top one, because it has a lower rule number, or a lower or higher priority, depending on how you think about it. So basically, we're saying that all traffic, which includes the SMTP traffic, is going to be allowed in on this first rule. So in essence, that means this rule is never going to be hit at all. So if we came in here and changed this, I believe if we change the order of this rule, save that. Now this SMTP rule will get hit first before the all traffic rule, this 100 rule, will get hit. So just something to note. Okay. All right. So now that we're done with that, go ahead and remove this guy. Save it. Okay. And then edit inbound. And I want to remove this guy also. Okay. So that's how easy it is to create a NACL, or I'm sorry, a rule. So now the next thing we want to do is create a custom NACL. So basically the same concept as the VPCs. You have a default and then a custom. So same thing applies with the NACLs. So I'm going to create a custom NACL now, and then I'll do my test base build, and we're going to use the default VPC to attach it to, and then do create NACL. Okay, and if we now, I have my default selected, and we'll notice here that allow, deny explicit or implicit, and this is on the inbound rules. And if I hop over here to the outbound rules, okay, hop over to the outbound rules, we have the same thing, allow, deny. All right, but here is the difference between the two. If I go to my custom NACL, I can see by default all traffic is denied. All traffic is denied inbound. Same here with outbound. All traffic is denied. So in essence, when we create a custom NACL, we basically have to go in and explicitly say allow communication to occur on whatever ports we want the communication to flow through. Because if we don't express that explicitly, no traffic is going to be allowed inbound or outbound. That's it.